Well, we knew we could do it. We knew the American people were good people who loved freedom and who remembered what made the nation great, which was the greatest ideas humanity ever developed. The ideas developed in the Bible and then merged with Anglo-Saxon common law. We are a Judeo-Christian nation. I've heard a lot of white supremacists and people say they hate that term Judeo-Christian. And I'm sorry, I've researched history, I've researched the Bible. Whether you love Jews or hate Jews, Jews are a mixed group like any other group. We are a Judeo-Christian nation. That's where it comes from. The whole thing, the Abrahamic religions are Judah, tribe of Judah. I don't know why I just went off on that jag, but it's just semantically, I'm so tired of being historically informed and watching all the complete abject ignorance out there. But the point is that our Anglo-Saxon common law, which fit quite nicely, was actually very, very similar to Judaic law, and then Roman law has been mixed into it as well. That's more the global mercantile system. These three systems of law were basically codified into our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, our Declaration of Independence in reverse order. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's the newest, best thing. It's the trump card against tyranny. They always say, oh, that's a 250-something-year-old document from 1776 written by Thomas Jefferson. I mean, that's old. We need this new globalism. We need some big computer to decide how we live and what we do. The CNN and the New York Times said so. Meanwhile, that's the technocracy they want. That's the technocracy Bloomberg admits that he wants to put in place. He's a technocrat. He's the king technocrat to control every facet of our lives. Guess what Bloomberg's done in just a decade? His $10 billion has gone to 50-something billion. Just off technocracy, just off, quote, information. And he gets information that you allow him to get, that he aggregates from the big internet giants, and then he sells it back to them with his algorithms that are basically proprietary from the government. And then he controls our lives. How you like that? How you like high-frequency trading, where they make billions a day ripping you off and scamming the whole stock market, or rigging the currency rates, or rigging the interest rates? Everything our guest would come on 20 years ago, I'd have lawyers on, and people wouldn't believe them when they were breaking down mirrors and how most of the mortgages have been sold 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 times, and how it was all a scam, and how they were putting debt against your birth certificate, and how they created 100+ trillion, now it's several thousand trillion, in fake derivatives. All of it was true. All of it was true. And I, 20 years ago, would roll my eyes at it and couldn't believe it, even though lawyers and others were bringing me the documents. And that's what I'm saying is, it's such a tiny elite of globalists at the top. And the news I want to give you is, I cannot stress enough to you the fact that I have studied so much history. And I'm not bragging when I say that. I'm just saying this isn't my opinion. I'm not your average cat. I'm not just here saying this to be dramatic. When I said over a month ago, you can Google it, it got picked up by newspapers. I'm proud of the fact they attacked me. They said, look at Alex Jones. He claims that the CIA has activated COG, saying that Trump's a Russian agent and maybe preparing to overthrow his presidency. They're calling for it in the news now. They built up to this point. They're selling the idea. They're getting Congress lined up. They're getting the media lined up. They're intimidating people in the press, saying you won't have a future anyways if Trump gets in. You've got to stop him. Trump is such an incredible champion. I don't just say this to kiss his rear end. It's amazing how good he is. I was, had a little bit of concern about my support. My gut told me he was good. We first announced 2 years ago. I've been basically backing him from the very start. But now it's so proven as the hundreds of billions come back in jobs, and as he prepares to control the border, and as he's about to this week have the Senate and then House repeal Obamacare, something they said was impossible, that we'd never reverse. That was them trying to break our will, folks. No, they're the ones that are broken. So let me tell them something. You go ahead and you kill Trump, or you go ahead and kill his supporters. You go ahead and start a false flag. You go ahead and indict him. You go ahead and make something up. You go ahead and have false witnesses come forward. This is for the whole empire, folks. This is why they're doing this. I mean, we're in the middle of a war right now. But just like Trump beautifully said yesterday, do you really understand what you did with Obamacare, that if it's $2,000, $3,000 fines in 2016, in 2017 it goes up to $5,000 fines on employers alone, multi-$1,000 fines on individuals. The premiums are ballooning. It's going up on average 17% a year. Some people it's doubled and tripled, like my parents, who were good and never used their insurance and paid for it for 30 plus years, and then now it's been doubled and then tripled. I mean, this is insane. And he said, Democrats, I'm doing you a favor. I could let this sit there and not ram this through and then let it hurt people even worse and hurt our economy worse, and you'd be destroyed in the next election. But he said, I'm not doing that to destroy you. I'm going to try to save this country and save Americans money. I'm going to do my job and not stoop to politics. And that's why they're so scared, folks. They've artificially jacked the economy and picked the winners and losers, and it all ends with Trump. Look at what humans build. Look at what we do. You turn us loose. We will innovate the planet. We will innovate the third world. We will empower everybody who wants to work and who has a good attitude. And the spirit of having ingenuity and Americanism, you can feel it, can't you? You can feel it, can't you? Trump can feel it. If you can feel that spirit, then you can feel what the enemy howls in anger at, because they want to be the only ones with a spark of creativity. They want to be the only ones deciding what to build and what to do. They don't want you to be able to chop down a tree in your backyard or fix your garage or open an ice cream shop or a wine shop. They don't want you to put a windmill up in your backyard or a solar panel unless they say, and unless it's jacked into their system. They're control freaks because they're nobodies. And the return of real men and real women with the largesse and the gravitas to build cornucopias of human empowerment is here. It's knocking at the door. We open the door. Trump's coming in, and the vampires are having conniption fits. Conniption fits as the light just pours in. And here's the danger. With 8 days left, you see, as I told you, I'm not glad I'm right, exponential acceleration, exponential arrogance, exponential lies. I'm going to bring David Knight in here, and then I'm going to finish up in a moment. But, David, is it not incredible to you? You're about to host the rest of the show. Is it not incredible to you that here we are yesterday going, look at this. They admit it's fake. They admit, this Cohen guy they say was in Russia was never even there. They can't even get the names right in this fake dossier. It was clearly just created off Internet information and then fill-in-the-blank lies put in. We've known about it again. I mean, I saw this thing when I was early on supporting Trump like 16 months ago. People were like, you better watch it. He's getting peed on by hookers and when he was over there in 2013. And I was like, this is on 4chan. This thing's got spelling mistakes in it on purpose, okay? Because trolls always give you a chance to know you're being duped. I said, this is crap. I said, this is such crap. It's probably put out by a Trump supporter, hoping Democrats pick it up. Now, I don't know what really happened with it, but here's the bottom line, David. They're running with it even more arrogantly now on CNN and MSNBC, now saying it's real. At first, when it came out that it was totally fake, they had to admit, okay, we screwed up. They don't care now, David. What does that tell you that the New York Times, and I want to say one thing to Trump. Man, next time I talk to him, I'm going to tell him this. Sir, I know you want to make the New York Times be nice. I know you live in New York. I know it's important to you. I know you grew up with it being numero uno. InfoWars has more traffic than it does. Sir, you're not going to win them over just because you had a meeting with Slim. They're not going to stop. For every nice article they write 50. They called him yesterday the Manchurian candidate in a huge front page story. Let's pull it up. Just type in Manchurian candidate, click news. And they said he's a Soviet agent. Now, I told you, that's the criminal elements of the CIA. And when they said he's a Manchurian candidate, they're getting ready to green light road groups arresting him or killing him. Okay? Believe me, the stuff going on behind the scenes, folks, the things they've activated, the crap they're pulling is, by the way, a two-way street. And they know that. They are out of their minds. They're losing, but in their death rattle, they're trying to pull us down like a giant squid trying to pull down a sperm whale. David Knight, what do you make of this?
Well, Alex, I thought it was kind of interesting. Piers Morgan, who was on The Apprentice, was one of the winners on The Apprentice, not a friend of ours, but he knows Donald Trump personally. And I thought he put it perfectly. He said, the only hookers in this story are the cheap, lazy journalists who run with fake Trump sleaze so they can urinate on his presidency. I think that just basically lays the whole thing out.
Well, that's what I said yesterday.
Yeah,
I said they're literally
exactly.
peeing on telling the truth.
Yeah, they're literally prostitutes, or literally prostitutes. And of course, it was just a couple of weeks ago that we saw that Snopes, the people who have been chosen by Facebook and others to be the arbiters of real truth, they have their own problems with prostitutes. They have S&M mistress that's doing their stories there, and of course all the dirt that is that came up with them. I mean, they're the real prostitute media. And so what happens is they project their perverted lifestyle, their vulgar, disgusting lifestyle on other people. They speak to people's confirmation bias that follow them, and that's really what's going on here. But that's just the surface. As you point out, what's beneath this all is the war of the elites. And of course, there's a lot of people now who are speaking out about that across the political spectrum. We got Glenn Greenwald, no fan of Donald Trump, saying this is his deep state going to war with Donald Trump. We got German MPs, former Defense Department spokesman there, talking about how this is really about the military-industrial complex coming after him. So that's really the bottom line of all this.
Well, that's it. And again, yes, now Glenn Greenwald says it's the deep state coming after him. Now WikiLeaks says it. Now the German members of government say it. Remember, folks, we told you months and months ago, this is the deep state, the shadow criminal globalists that have hijacked the nation. It isn't about credit. It's about listeners understanding. We told you the UN is going to come out and call for computers to be given rights, but of course the UN will represent the so-called machines that the globalists create. So their own creations with Trojan horses and backdoors will now have rights where you get sent to prison if you say smash some robot that pulls you over and gives you a ticket. That's where all this is going. We have their dehumanization program. If we simply wake up to it and say no and call it out, they will fail. The spirit of awakening to this will bring them down. I want to play a clip again. I played this probably 5 times yesterday, but it's so important, of Trump telling CNN, no, you're not real news. I'm not going to let you just butt in here and take over. Here it is.
Information that was false and fake and never happened got released to the public. As far as BuzzFeed, which is a failing pile of garbage, writing it, I think they're going to suffer the consequences. They already are. And as far as CNN going out of their way to build it up, and by the way, we just found out I was coming down. Michael Cohen, Michael Cohen is a very talented lawyer. He's a good lawyer in my firm. It was just reported that it wasn't this Michael Cohen they were talking about. So all night long, it's Michael Cohen. I said, I want to see your passport. He brings his passport to my office. I say, hey, wait a minute. He didn't leave the country. He wasn't out of the country. They had Michael Cohen of the Trump Organization was in Prague. It turned out to be a different Michael Cohen. It's a disgrace what took place. It's a disgrace. And I think they ought to apologize to start with Michael Cohen.
Sir, since you're attacking us, can you give us a question?
Go ahead.
No, Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are attacking our news organization.
Your organization.
Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you state...
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
go ahead.
Can you state
categorically... She's asking a question. Don't be rude.
Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
You're attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically...
You are fake news.
Sir.
All right. Now I'm going to get out of here in a moment and let David and I take over. But understand, we've always wanted somebody to be a champion of America, somebody to fight globalism, somebody to turn the economy back on, somebody to defend the Second Amendment, defend religious rights in this country. I've personally talked to Trump about this. He's deeply committed to getting the IRS off the backs of the 501c3s and the churches. You wanted it, folks. You've got it. This is God giving us an imperfect servant, just like King David. But I do liken him to King David, taking down Goliath. Okay? He's taken down Goliath, but next phase, folks, we've got to get behind Trump. And I'm telling you, a whole era of prosperity can come in, and we can have Americana spread around the world in the face of globalism that's going to still operate and the whole technocracy. But Trump is just riding a wave of this awakening, but he's a very, very special person, a very, very special person who, believe me, is way smarter than he even looks on air. I mean, just the understanding he's got is an absolute godsend. He's a blessing. I mean, I'm telling you, Trump is absolutely heaven sent, and we need to pray for this man. We need to understand, and the people in the media that are going along with the attacks on him just because it's seen as fashionable and cool. Look, this is a real war. This is dangerous. You have sided with really evil criminal forces that are very, very wicked. And I know a lot of you know that and get off on it. But some of you at Media Matters and others I know are pretty upset about what you're seeing. I'll just go ahead and announce this. That's why there has been a mole inside Media Matters. And there's a lot of information that we have, and there's a lot of information that we have on other sources. And you know, quite frankly, you know, going back a few months ago with the election, I have been basically asked, and others have, just to not take the gloves completely off, hoping that CNN and Media Matters and everybody else would just stop. They're not going to stop. They're scum. And everybody knows about scum. They don't know when to quit. They don't know when they're whipped. And so here's the deal. Everybody always wanted to fight. I always said, hey, I don't know how this is going to end, but if you want to fight, you better believe you got one. Well, I'm in every bit of that. So I love it. And you know, I'm sad for people, what they're going through. And I'm sad for, you know, some people that, you know, may not make it. But the whole point is that's just the way this is. This is a man's game, isn't it? It's a man's world. I've done a man's job. And you know what? I'm ready to do more jobs. I'm ready to do whatever it takes. So you want to bang heads with me, New World Order? You got it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. Oh, guess what? We're already banging heads right now, aren't we? That's right. You're going to get your head banged so hard now. You're going to get your head banged so hard you ain't ever going to get back up. So discretion is a greater part of valor. Well, you don't have discretion. You don't get it, do you? And you're never going to get the best of better men. You just mark that down. You came from scum. You are scum, and you're going to get run over now. And I feel great. Now, I need the listeners, because I've obviously been out of town. I thought I'd take some time off with the family, but I ended up working this whole time, and it worked out to be good that I'm out of town during all this craziness. We have a huge special on our amazing best-selling nootropic Brain Force, now 20% more each bottle. I'm going to skip this network break so David has more time. And I need David to keep plugging here, David, because we're not bringing in the capital right now. Nobody's fault. I just haven't been on it. We also have 10% off on DNA Force, the flagship product that's been sold out for months, because this isn't a product even our listeners order. This is the product that real nutraceutical supplement heads buy, because they know it's at least half the price of other similar brands that you get from doctors' offices. It is a prescription, but stuff that has these type of quality products usually sold by doctors or at health clinics and things. Well, some people sell for 5 times, 6 times as much. We have it, the very best BioPQQ, the very best CoQ10, and a bunch of other cofactors and things to accelerate it, enzymes, uptake it and absorb it, with BioTrue seleniums back in, but 10% off on DNA Force. And this is just an epic battle. It's an epic war, and we need your financial support now more than ever, whether it's Hillary for President shirt 2017, deport George Soros in the back, whether it's Trump is my president, still a few sizes in that left, in red. Whatever the case is, we need your financial support now, because history's happening. And David, you are so eloquent. You're so amazing when I hear you on air, but you've got the same problem I have. You're too jovial. You're too confident. You're too focused sometimes. I want you to just sit back and realize where you're at right now, talking to, let's be conservative. There's probably 2 million people right now, conservatively, watching you and listening to you live. Very conservative number. I mean, it's like 5 million a day. But let's say 2 million people are tuning into you right now, and you're sitting there, talking about all this, dealing with this. I mean, we're not just saying there's a civil war. We're not just saying stuff's going on behind the scenes. James Bond movie stuff, okay, folks? When I say that, I mean the stuff I've seen, the things I've witnessed is so. It'd be the biggest story in the country right now, okay? And I'm not even supposed to say this. I am completely speechless at this point. I mean, the government is run by total criminals. Now, here's the deal, at the top. But it's full of all these good people that things got so corrupt they finally had to speak out and say something. That's why we're actually winning right now. I'm not kissing their ass. It's true. It's because people in the intelligence agencies leaked the truth, stood up, and have basically told Obama to go to hell. And they told Obama go to hell about backing ISIS and Al-Qaeda. So all this incredible stuff's happening right now, David. It's such an incredible time to be alive. I'm so honored to know you, my friend. But I just do not I don't know if the listeners realize the level we're at right now and how insane things are. David?
Well, thank you, Alex, for giving me the opportunity to speak here to these people. What we see here going on, as you point out, is like a James Bond movie. We got the billionaire with his army and the hollowed out volcano. quite frankly, the news that we've got here goes beyond what we saw with the Bond films. I mean, as you well know, this is really like the Terminator, what we're seeing happening here. I mean, there's been stories on the Drudge Report last couple of days, things that we've been talking about. Talked to Dr. Sharkey a couple of years ago about artificial intelligence.
I'll start jumping in, but you're right. They're building a Terminator system, but just like the final Terminator movie admits, the last one, it's a human brain at the middle of it. It's a eugenics doctor building a robot takeover. They're telling us the plan. Dave, I'm going to hand over to you. I love you. I appreciate your work. Head them and head them hard, folks. This is huge. I'll be calling in later.
Thank you, Alex. And, of course...
InfoWars has more than 15 YouTube channels and about 3 million subscribers. Our main channel has 1.854 or 1,854,000 plus subscribers. Now, they've been gaming the system for a long time to shut down nationalistic or patriotic media, saying we're right-wingers, saying we're extremists. Well, it doesn't matter who we are. We have a right to free speech, don't we? As long as we don't violate the rules. Well, now Zuckerberg has come out and said he's going to restrict conservative news like communist China does, calling it fake news. And Google, that owns YouTube, has announced, and they've done it now 2 weeks ago, that they're going to basically make you click the bell in your notifications. We're going to show you how to do that, or you won't get all the channels that you've subscribed to and you won't get the videos. Now, why are they doing this? It's more than just censoring. They want you to see the videos that they feed you below and beside the videos you're looking at that are corporately sponsored so they make more money. They're taking the you out of YouTube. So we're in this information war, and it's more important than ever that you promote the videos, that you like the videos, and that you send them on to others. Because the answer to the attempt to shut us down and restrict free speech that's openly now happening is for us to redouble our efforts. We're winning the culture war as true classical liberals that made this country great. We're restoring the Renaissance. So again, if you want to get our videos, so you can make your decision whether you want to see them or not. After all, that's why you subscribed. YouTube's had this since they started 12 years ago or whatever it was. And they're fundamentally changing it so you don't get it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is promoting fake news and trash news and establishment news. It's killing real independent news. But we the people, by taking action, can break the back of this system. So please, click on the bell so you get the notifications and so you get in your feed the videos and channels you've subscribed to. I'm Alex Jones for Infowars.com.